Oh, my God. Can you believe what's happening in Emmerdale right now? I swear I was on the edge of my seat, heart in my mouth, watching the latest scenes unfold. This is not a drill, people. This is the kind of raw, emotional, gut-punching TV that reminds you why we're all so obsessed with this show. And right at the center of it all is our very own, beloved Jacob Gallagher. Remember when he first came to the Dales, this sweet kid who was just trying to find his way? We've watched him grow up on our screens, through the good times and the absolutely heartbreaking ones. The Maya storyline was something else, a storyline that left a scar on the whole village. And on us, the viewers. We felt his pain, his confusion, his absolute trauma. We saw him try to rebuild his life, find his feet again, and chase his dream of becoming a doctor. It was a beautiful thing to witness, this young man turning his pain into purpose. We were all rooting for him, weren't we? So proud of how far he'd come. And then, just when it seemed like he was finally getting a handle on things, building a new life with Sarah and finding his place in the world, the unthinkable happened. The limo crash. The one that took his mum, Layla. I remember watching those scenes, the sheer, unbearable grief on his face. It was a reminder that no matter how much you try to move forward, the past can still catch up with you in the most brutal ways. The loss of a parent, especially in such a sudden and shocking way, is a pain that changes you forever. We saw him crumble, pushing away the people who loved him most, spiraling into a place of isolation and pain. My heart just broke for him. And now this, the shocking news about Jacob Gallagher in hospital. The whispers and rumors started flying around, and I'm sure you were just as panicked as I was. What happened? Is he okay? Is this another one of those devastating blows that the Dales seem to love throwing at their residents? We've all seen it before. A seemingly normal day turns into a nightmare in a split second. A character you've grown to love is suddenly fighting for their life. It's the kind of thing that makes you want to shout at the TV, to reach in and just give them a hug and tell them it's all going to be okay. The truth as it's now coming to light is so much more layered and complex than a simple accident. It's not just a physical injury we're talking about, it's a profound emotional collapse. We've seen him at breaking point, haven't we? Pushed to the very limits of what he can handle. His first day of work placement in A&E, a place that's a whirlwind of chaos and emotion at the best of times, became a crucible for his grief. He was faced with a patient whose injuries mirrored his mum's. Can you even imagine that? The trauma, the memories, the raw, unprocessed pain coming back in a tidal wave. It was too much. It was more than anyone could ever be expected to handle. That moment when he froze, when he couldn't help, when he just had to walk away, it was a heartbreaking, raw moment of truth. His boss, Dr. Todd, seeing the wreckage of his grief, sending him home. It wasn't a punishment, it was a plea for him to take care of himself. You have suffered a major bereavement and you need time to process things, she said. And wasn't that the most human and most poignant thing to hear? We often forget that these characters, for all their drama, are going through things that are deeply and intensely real. They're just like us, trying to navigate grief and loss and the messiness of life. But instead of finding solace, Jacob descended further. He turned to day drinking, pushing away Sarah, the one person who has been trying so hard to be there for him. He was a train wreck, and we all saw it coming, but we were helpless to stop it. That's the thing with watching these stories, isn't it? You see the path of self-destruction, and you just hope, pray, that someone, anyone, will step in and pull them back from the brink. The confrontation with Sarah, shouting at her, kicking her out, it was a moment of absolute despair. He's so lost right now, so broken. And the absolute kicker, the thing that will have us all talking for weeks, is that camera lingering on the pregnancy test in Sarah's bag. What? Is she pregnant? Is this the bombshell that will either be his redemption or another layer of tragedy? Just when you thought this storyline couldn't get any more emotionally charged, they throw that in. The possibility of a baby, a new life, a beacon of hope in the midst of all this darkness. How will Jacob react? Will it be the wake-up call he so desperately needs? Will he finally be forced to face his grief and start to heal? Or will it push him even further away? This is more than just a soap opera storyline. This is about grief and trauma and the messy, imperfect process of healing. It's about how the past can haunt you, how it can shape your present, and how it can threaten to destroy your future. It's about the importance of reaching out for help, and the fear of letting people in when you're at your most vulnerable. We've all had moments in our lives where we felt overwhelmed, where we've pushed people away, where we felt like we're drowning. That's why this hits so hard. We see a piece of ourselves in Jacob's pain. What happens next is anyone's guess, and that's the beautiful, agonizing part of it all. Will Sarah tell him the truth? Will he finally let his family and friends help him? We can only hope. But one thing's for sure, this isn't just a hospital visit. This is a turning point,